2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and they are coming back to town. Me and James have made up a kind of a map of the ones that we are going to get this year, and I believe he does have the current map, the ones we did last year. The calculation of the total amount was, I believe, $331,000 with the estimate that they gave us, and it will cover everything on the light blue side. And we are doing a couple different parking lots that are there. Other than that, just trying to catch percentage of in each district.
That's about an 8-mile stretch.
It's going to be probably about, I believe, 4 to 5 miles.
Oh, 4 to 5.
Last year we were at 500 and I believe 540, 530,000.
Yeah.
This year we budgeted 338. We came in at 331 with the estimate that they gave us, the quote. So from 7,000, well, we might be able to add in 1 or 2 more, just seeing where we're at.
Mr. Gay,
It's good to know.
good to go?
I have one question for you, not on that, but a week or so ago, you know, when we had our little baby twister, our siren didn't go off. What was the deal on that?
Actually, you want to direct that over to Chief.
Yeah.
We'll wait till Chief shows up. That way he starts sweating by the time we go.
I want to direct that one over.
Actually, with that incident that happened on that Saturday, I did contact the National Weather Service out of Midland and spoke to one of their chief meteorologists, and they indicated that that particular incident was either what he calls a gustnado or downdraft with rotation. Both of those different words or what it was because there wasn't any clouds in the sky. There's no radar that could pick that up. So basically it builds from the ground up. So there's no telling when it could come in. It's just a random thing without any warning.
So we would have just been destroyed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mike?
No, sir.
Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, this is a week, we have our auditors will be here all week. And this is the first audit that this particular firm is doing for us. Integrity Accounting and Consultants is the name of the new firm. And so far, things are going smoothly, and we're glad they're here.
Gary, is it possible that they could print out one of them integrity sheets for us to sign? They always send it via email, and I wish we get to download and sign it.
Yeah.
They do send us one, I believe, and then we've got to download it, print it out, and sign it, or do something with it. So if they could just have it ready for us, we can do that. We can take care of it here at one of our board meetings. That way everybody can sign off on it. Because it is a process, what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. And I'll ask them about that. They may have a requirement of knowing that it came directly from each individual is part of why they do it with the email.
Okay.
However, they may okay just having them all brought before your commission if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I think we'd all like that. I don't know if
Did
you
we
ever
do
did
that at the end of the year?
Yeah, well, I think
Audit?
it's during the audit. Yeah, this is
So,
but
I
this
don't know if
audit,
it would be-
is it this during this audit they would be doing
It'll be
something?
during this audit, however,
Okay.
it's based on their time and when they need that information.
Okay,
Right now, it hasn't been a priority.
okay. Well,
It's closer to the
yeah, just
end
whenever.
of the fiscal year there, so.
Yeah, so just keep us in mind, as I'm saying. If not, we'll go with the protocol on it, but
Okay.
it'd be simplified for us, is what I'm saying. That way we get it done, is what I'm saying. That way the audit shows that we all got it done. Anything else, Gary?
No, sir.
Anything else from the commission?
Nothing to report.
Anna?
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Art? Commissioner Bernard?
I just want to say, Saturday, Main Street had a pretty good turnout down there. I visited the site, and it was EDC, and,
Main Street.
yeah, and Main Street. And that's all right. It didn't all come out like I wanted it to, but it was a pretty good turnout down there. So, thank you, ladies, and the people that work there for helping it run smoothly.
I have nothing to report.
I'm good this week.
Big Chief?
Nothing to report, sir?
Nothing to add, sir.
James?
Only thing I've got is this Wednesday at the Youth Center at 5:30, we have a ribbon cutting for the STEAM Lab. So we invite each of you as well as the public to attend. So this is a pretty exciting event, but these classes will be kicking off pretty soon.
Patrick?
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you, Patrick. We're on to public comment.
Herb Smith. I just wanted to thank y'all for allowing me to serve on the youth board this past time, and want to retain my position, or I'd like to, if that's possible, on the youth board.
We want to appreciate you two, Herb, for always
Do
giving
I-
that. We want to appreciate you two for always spending that extra time for the community. We really appreciate
You're welcome.
all what you do for us. We really thank you.
My pleasure.
Good evening.
What's up?
Mara and Evelyn, Main Street and the EDC. We wanted to give you guys an update of Saturday's event in the downtown area. We had a very good attendance, better than what we actually anticipated, since we did have to change it a month prior and locations, but it actually all worked out really well. More people attended this year than what they did last year. We had 2 breweries, a winery, the Dusties. We had 15 or 16 vendors, 4 country bands, 2 Spanish bands. It was a really good cornhole tournament, pumpkin painting for the kids. It was a really good event, and we want to thank you all for allowing us to have this event in the downtown area. Also to Bernie, he did come out on Saturday and delivered some pallets for us for the beer garden. It was a really, really good attendance. David, you were there. It was great. It was a good one.
Enjoyed it, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, just again, major shout out and thank you to the city, our volunteers, Crystal, our families. It really takes a lot to be able to put this together. Wyatt's son got coerced into helping me, and he was nobody ever said no, nobody ever gave a face or anything. They were always just like, yeah, we're okay, whatever you need. So thank you guys. It really does take everybody's help in order for us to be able to pull this off, and we hope y'all had fun. The weather was wonderful. The kids really loved the pumpkin painting. It was nice to have, different breweries out there, and cornhole, we had 14 teams in it. So yeah, it was really well attended. We were really excited, and I think we're still trying to figure out the date, because there's so much going on in the community, so we're just working that out.
And I have to say, I like the location. I really did.
Yeah,
I thought it was
I've heard
very
that.
roomy,
Yeah.
wide. It's wider than the, Central Street. It was a lot wider, and it seemed like it was just a lot of room. Still had plenty
It
of-
flowed, everything flowed a
Yeah,
lot better.
yeah.
We didn't hear any complaints about the location. Everyone was very happy with the location.
Yeah.
We also, Youth Center had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that was going on. Jaylene came and helped out. It was awesome. It's great to be able to work with everybody like that. So thank you guys.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
We got done about almost 3 a.m. cleaning.
And then round 2 today.
Round 2 today, and yes. So, hope everyone enjoyed it. Is there any questions for us?
Any question about
Just a great job.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone that supported, sponsored, helped behind the scenes, just to make this event happen. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And then I just have one last thing for Main Street. We have the Shop Local campaign next Friday. This time it's going to be featuring Cornerstone and Marshall's Furniture. We'd really love to have you guys come out. It's all about supporting our local businesses and making sure that they continue to succeed in our downtown. So hopefully we'll see y'all there. They have specials going on at Cornerstone and discounts at Marshall's. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I just wanted to come and introduce myself. I'm Chad Weiss. I'm the new pastor at Hillcrest Baptist Church, and my name is on the list to be on the youth board. And so I just wanted to come and meet everyone and introduce myself.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Hi, Melinda Medellin with Lovington Youth Center, and so I just have a couple of things. I wanted to say thank you to Ron and Marla Price for some window signs, decals that they have donated to the Lovington Youth Center, and also a flag. And then James beat me to it, but I also wanted to extend the invitation to our grand opening and ribbon cutting for our STEAM lab. That will be on September 6th, this Wednesday at 5:30. That lab was made possible by a grant by Maddox Foundation, and so we're really excited about it. It's free. It's going to be free to the kids, have a lot of opportunities for them to come and explore and learn and do some STEAM. Our STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and so the kids will be able to come in, explore, create, and hopefully be able to learn something that they can take with them and go out and do something great in the world. So I want to invite you guys, and hopefully you can all make it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tim Boyston. I'd like to, on the sirens that you guys were talking about, how come you don't test them, or do they work?
Sir, I can answer that one. The testing, what we do is once a month, and they do a bump test, and then once a quarter, we're trying to do a full-on alarm test. So we should be coming out with a full-on test coming up in this next month.
Yeah, because I've been here since '07, and I've heard them once.
I know they've been tested more than that one time.
Yeah. And then, are you guys going, I don't know if you guys know it, by the schools on the crosswalk, they have like the courthouse, they got in the middle of the crosswalk, they got that stop sign right here. There's a little stop, yellow thing about this high, that says, it's the law of stop. Are you gonna be putting those in all the schools? Crosswalks?
Chief, can you address?
We didn't put those out.
If I can actually answer that. We are, currently right now, we placed, I believe, 6 of them, or 4 of them, over on Jefferson Street.
Right.
And we see a lot of traffic right there. We are evaluating the other school zones, and we will be purchasing and placing them out within the year. But we are evaluating this a lot of the crosswalks, they are stop sign based. So when you pull up to a stop sign, there's a crosswalk. So the ones that we have caught are the ones in the middle of intersections, or not in the intersections, they're actually in the middle of the blocks.
Right, and you have some of the stop signs that are after the crosswalk, and you don't know exactly where to stop because there's no line. You have a stop sign and a line usually, except for this town.
So identifying
where you're supposed to stop.
A white line.
Do you stop? Do you stop at the crosswalk and then stop again 30 feet? 30 feet?
Well,
There's 2 of them in town.
The sign is identified stop when pedestrians are present.
Well, yeah.
So it's not, you pull up.
So you would stop. You would stop when the pedestrians are there, and then stop 30 feet again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because the pedestrians always have the right of way.
Well, in the crosswalk, I understand that, but I mean it's kind of most of your crosswalks got a stop sign. So you would stop for the pedestrians and then continue on. You know, where 2 of them in town, you got to stop for pedestrians and then stop again. 30 feet, or 20 feet. I think one's about 30 and then one's about 20. Yeah, I was probably just curious, if they're going to continue those signs, which help a lot.
Yes, we are looking at continuing those signs when in the middle of a block.
Right, because a lot of cars do not like to stop for pedestrians. They just keep going.
Yes, sir.
That's what I was saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Moving on to, we do not have any non-action items, so moving on to action items, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, approval of ordinance 561, an ordinance of the City of Lovington authorizing the execution of a project participation agreement providing funding to the Lovington Economic Development Corporation to purchase and renovate the former Lovington cheese plant facility in Lovington, Lee County, New Mexico.
Second.
A motion second. James?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So this ordinance, of course, we have advertised it as required, and this is our final vote for adoption. Just kind of a review of this particular ordinance. This ordinance will allow us to execute a project participation agreement between the city and the Lovington EDC. And what the Lovington EDC will do is acquire the former cheese plant property. They'll renovate the property. They'll also have funding provided for maintenance and operations. And this will also allow the city to execute a guarantee between Lee County State Bank, who's providing the financing for the project, and us. So this is made possible through the use of what we call, or commonly referred to as LEDA funds, Local Economic Development Act. It's actually Local Option Gross Receipts Tax, which has been around in Lovington. It's a 1/8 of 1% tax that was voted in back in 2007. This does allow us to avoid conflicts with the anti-donation clause of the New Mexico Constitution through the Economic Development Act. So we can actually assist private enterprise with public funds. It's designed to assist job creation for manufacturing processes, infrastructure and development to bring about more economic development. We also, whenever this was voted in, enacted cultural facilities to allow for expenditure of that, and that also made our Lee Theater project happen. We can use this also for storing, warehousing, distribution for agriculture, mining, or industrial products. Now, we cannot directly assist retail with this particular funding stream. It's against the law unless our population is less than 10,000. Now, back in 2013, the legislature did amend the LEDA Act to allow for retail, but there are two, I guess you would say, exceptions for this. One, we would have to have a special election to enact the retail clause for this. And with that, we would not be able to assist a business with expansion or development if it's going to compete directly with an existing business. So we wouldn't be able to assist another sandwich shop come in because we have other sandwich shops here. In addition to that, no state funds could be used to help with retail. So right now, we lack the means to assist retail with any type of development. As far as this project participation agreement and ordinance will provide for, our contribution is essentially we will finance this project or provide them the annual debt service obligation. Payments will not exceed $100,000. I believe it's going to be a 7-year term. This will all be funded through the LOGR. We will have to provide or purchase what they call our 1-year debt service coverage, essentially a $100,000 CD that will be held by Lee County State Bank just as the security for the particular financing. EDC will also be provided up to $50,000 a year for operations and maintenance. So if they need to hire a security firm, do security fencing, purchase insurance, make any repairs to that facility, in addition to the funding that's going to be provided through the financing, this will allow the EDC to have access to those funds. The EDC's contribution is that they are basically going to be getting this facility up and ready for occupation, preferably sale. I know that Evelyn is working on a couple of leads that we already have right now, but this building will physically be owned by the Lovington Economic Development Corporation. So they will have the property in use by September of 2021 by what we classify as a long-term tenant, which means that they will be in existence for a minimum of 5 years and contribute to Lovington Municipal Gross Receipts Tax. In addition, by 2026, they have to directly create 10 new jobs. And in addition to that, if they do decide to lease the facility out, or if they sell the facility, all of the proceeds from the lease or the sale will go back to replenish any funds expended by the local option gross receipts tax. You can see that we've got numerous, it's just a large facility. We have cold storage available. It could be sold to one company all as one unit, or it could actually be segregated or separated and leased to different entities. But we just require your final vote of approval if that is what the commission desires tonight.
Any questions about
Yes.
Yeah, like
Want
that.
to say something.
What's it, sir?
I think Evelyn might want to
Okay.
say something.
Evelyn, did you want to?
I would just like to, just elaborate a little bit on what James had to say. Just that within the last 2 or 3 months, we've had a lot of activity come through just for that facility. Today, I submitted a request for a proposal for a company out of California that is looking for a facility that is 85 to 150,000 square feet. And all the requirements that they have, our building has it. And they are looking to locate in a community that is close to Texas. We're there. So I submitted it for them. They actually requested, they wanted information regarding that facility, submitted it. It's looking really good. That creates 200 jobs. I think it'd be great. The other one is a, what is it, a cardboard manufacturing company. That one has over 75 jobs. But just the little bit that we've been marketing it for the last couple of months, we've had a lot of activity. I think once we take ownership and once we start renovating and sprucing it up, I think we'll have a lot of activity on that facility, and our hopes are we should sell it pretty quickly. If we are to get a tenant before the 2021, the state can come in and renovate it, and we won't have to use any funding for renovation or maintenance. The state will come in if we can find a tenant for it.
That company, the first one you said, in California, they wanted all this 85,000. Did you tell them that, I mean, will they buy it like it is now without renovating?
They don't know this facility has been burnt down. I mean, but the person, the mediator, has been vandalized, I guess to use the word. The mediator that is working with us, I did mention it to him, let him know that we are gonna renovate it, that there is some damage to the facility. He really did not care. He says, we've had buildings that have been in much worse condition. It's actually not a bad thing because they could come in and fix it to their specs instead of us fixing it for them and it's not what they want. And they would redo, so it would get fixed one time to their specs.
That's the way to go.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to also thank you for taking the initiative to move forward on this project. It's been long waited. Every time I drive back from Hobbs, I see that, and it's been needed. And I think all of us commissioners have been here. We've been trying pretty much every route we could find just to get somebody in that and try to assist anybody to get in and out. You know, I always tell everybody, I said, that's our end result. But Lovington doesn't like to step in and take ownership of buildings and so forth. That's the end result. But we've been successful thus far for every project that we've taken on. So if you look statistically, it's very slim that we've done this. And I'm just glad that we're moving forward on this. And hopefully, if the board does agree on this, that we will take it, and then people finally driving to Lovington see something going on instead of an empty building, a big empty building.
Yeah, it is an eyesore, and I know some folks are for it, some folks are not for it. But I mean, we have tried in the last 10 years that I have been here, we have brought 4 very good projects, and it's just been really hard to occupy it. And I think now eliminating the middle person and us being the ones that have it, it'd be a lot easier for us to fill it. Those jobs, I mean, could have been created a long time ago, but that's the reason we decided to take an initiative. Nobody likes to own a building, but someone has to do it. So we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, if there's no other questions, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2018-90, approval of advised ordinance 563, an ordinance of the city of Lovington, New Mexico, amending Title 10, Chapter 10.04, Uniform Traffic Code, adopting the 2018 amendments by reference, establishing the penalty assessment program, establishing listed schedule of penalty assessments, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict thereof.
Second. Had a motion and second. James?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, as we discussed, I believe it was about a month ago, the updates required for the uniform traffic ordinance that the state adopted. They went into effect July 1st. The only changes that we saw was they did include multiple additions to what would be eligible for penalty assessment. What this ordinance would also do would allow our officers to utilize penalty assessment. Right now, if you are issued a notice to appear or the citation by one of our police officers, you are required to make a visit to the municipal court where you can enter your plea of guilty, no contest, or not guilty. What the penalty assessment would do would allow the individual to opt in to just pay the fines and fees directly without having to go to court. So we have a list of the minimum, or actually what the penalty assessment would be, the different fines. There's about 4 different pages. This is available on our city's website, or will be available on our city's website first thing in the morning, so that everybody has the option to review it, or they can come by and inspect a copy of it. But this is just simply asking permission to start the advertisement process, with adoption being at our first meeting in October.
Any questions about the board?
So we don't need the judge?
No, sir. Mayor Commissioner Sanchez, we still would require the judge, because not everybody has to, you would still have the ability to enter a plea to contest the citation.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for resolutions 2891, amendment of the youth board members, and that Herb Smith retains his seat, and that we select Chad Weiss to replace the outgoing member that resigned.
Second motion.
Do we have to name all 4, or just them 2?
No, sir, just
Okay.
the 2.
So motion is second by Arthur Sanchez. Go ahead, James.
Well, Mayor and Commissioners, these were the individuals who did submit interest in serving on the youth board, and these would be for terms that would expire June 30th of 2022.
Any questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do you have a motion?
Okay, I want to consider resolution 218-93, authorizing the execution and delivery of local government planning grant agreement between,
Second one.
did I miss one?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, I would like to consider resolution 218-92, appointment of Parks and Recreation Board member.
Second.
Do I have to make a list on that, James?
Mayor and Commissioners, we advertise this in the same manner as our youth center. These 3 individuals are interested in continuing to serve. They're actually currently serving on the board.
Do we have to amend that to retain the current members? Do we have?
That would be an easy.
You want to just, Arthur, you want to amend that to say to retain the current members?
And that we would retain the same members.
And I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2018-93, authorizing the execution and delivery of a local government planning grant agreement between the NMFA and the city of Lovington for the MRA plan.
Second that.
Motion second, James.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you are aware, we did complete our MRA plan, which was made possible through a grant made available by the New Mexico Finance Authority. This document here will allow us to execute the closing documents so we can receive our $50,000 reimbursement for the plan.
That's good.
Any questions by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2018-94, adoption of the Water Department Emergency Response Plan updates.
Second.
And motion second, Wyatt.
Mayor and Commissioners, in 2017, we have the New Mexico Environment Department come in. Actually, they come in every 3 years to evaluate the water wells in all of our water system. It's called the sanitary survey. And one of their findings was their emergency response plan. It was not currently up to date. So Darren and his crew and myself, since probably May to current, have done the new ERP and presented it to the state. They have approved it and issued it to the state in our plan. We just would like to get a resolution approving it for the city so we can submit it to the state.
Any questions?
Good job.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Gandy? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, I'll consider this accounts payable. Make the motion, accounts payable.
Second that. Motion second. Gary?
Your Mayor and Commission, I'd like to share with you the quick review of a few items on our payables list. Starting on the first page near the top, the fourth item down, the after-hours heating and air conditioning really saved a few of my staff members by replacing an air compressor for our air conditioner. For some reason, when it's hot, they like to keep a little cool air in the office. And moving down, the Atco International Supplies, the $1,533, was really a combination of different departments buying things, but predominantly the supplies for wastewater, the cemetery, and the senior center and the recreation department. A variety of different things, everything from stove cleaners to just plain standard office supplies. But when we move down, the large number, the 10,162, the Best Buy for Business, this was one of the main purchases that our youth center had to make for the STEAM lab equipment. And they'd gotten things like projectors and cameras and printers and things of that nature through Best Buy. Then moving down from that, we have the Blaine Industrial Supplies. The primary expenditures were for fire cleaning supplies and public works housekeeping supplies. And as we move down the list, we go to the CES for the $3,116. That was yet another payment for our 17th Street project. And then if we move down about the middle of the page where it says game time, the Parks Department needed to replace the wire rope and some springs and things for the, what do you call that cable that goes? The zip line. They needed to fix the zip line. And so that's what those expenses are for. And then just below that, the GBO's credit, again, is a place that we buy a lot of supplies for several departments, but most of these supplies are for the recreation and animal shelter. And then just below that, the Gimpler Incorporated, the cemetery department needed a lot of safety supplies, vests and glasses, things of that nature. And as we move down, IMPS was rather interesting because the IMPS was something that our wastewater department needed to go through this company to repair their sewer jetter wash trailer. And it's something that we're planning to replace. However, it's taken a long time for the replacement vehicle to be ready. So we have to have something in operation now, so we needed to repair this. And then just below that, the $11,576 for Candy Cane water well service. Our well number 27 needed a new pump and new pipe. And as we go down, I would take you down to the Phoenix Enterprises. Phoenix Enterprises sells a special sterilant for grass and weeds and things. And the wastewater treatment plant needs to keep the weeds down around the berms for their ponds at the wastewater treatment plant. And then the going down to the Rocky Mountain Cummings for the $4,631. The wastewater treatment plant needed to repair the generator for one of their generators at the plant, and then their portable generator that they bring around to different lift stations. And then below that, the Souder, Miller and Associates is some of the engineering cost for our Phase 2 Commercial Street project. And then just below that, the Stanley Convergent, the 756, that's just a quarterly payment we make to keep our drive-through in operation for the water department. Then as we turn to the last page, you'll see the next item of interest is the $6,500 with the Top Hand LLC. Our water department needed to replace the motor on their vac trailer, and that was the main expenditure there. And then for Tyler Technologies, this is an annual contract payment for us to have the software interact with our meter reading software. And then the last item I think is worth mentioning is the Walt Disney Studios motion pictures. We'll start seeing more of that now that we have our accounts payable purchase order process working better. We generally have to send wire transfers for all the movies for the Lee Theater. In this case, it was paying for 3 movies, the Ant-Man and Wasp movie, the Avengers Infinity movie, and Incredibles 2. Do you have any questions?
Question by the board? Hearts good? Pay the bill. All in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion? Final motion?
Final motion, we